Okay, welcome back. Uh, okay, basically both Matplotlib and Seaborn that you have seen extensively in this course, they both are static kind of plots. So once you have created the plot, you cannot play with the plot, you cannot interact with the plot. There are a lot of interactive libraries where you can draw a figure and then you can interact with the figure. For example, one such library is Bokeh. We will see one other interactive library in this course as well, which is Plotly, just very briefly. So let's start with Bokeh, and we will see some of cool stuff with Bokeh in this particular video. So let's go to our friend's Jupyter Notebook, and let's just start Bokeh. First of all, let's do some importings. Imports Bokeh dot plotting, import figure, output file, and show. So let's import these. These are imported. Now let's set the output file um, as let's name it's basically browser based. All the videos they can open up in another browser. You can send all these images to a server, for example. So let's open up, let's say, demo.html. That will open up as a new file. Later on we will see we can embed in the same notebook as well, no problem. So right now, so let's say P is our figure. Figure is, let's say, plot width is let's say 800 plot height height equals to 400, and let's say the title of the plot is demo, let's say. Okay, let's now create a p dot let's say line, maybe very simply. Let's say we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, and we have, these are x coordinates, the y coordinates are, let's say, 6, 7, 8, 9, and let's say 10. We can set the line width as well. So line width, don't confuse this line width property as a Matplotlib property. In there, the plot property has a different kind of syntax. Then we call this show p, and after, what's the problem here? P dot line doesn't work. Why not? So maybe I have skipped something. Unexpected attribute line width. Oh, I guess I've messed up with the spellings. Line width, yeah, T is the. So it opens up in a new browser. You can send that file to a server. You can send that file periodically to a server. And now you can play with this particular file. You can see that you can set axes, all X labels, Y labels, and titles, and all that stuff. You can do a zoom, and you can have a wheel zoom, for example. You can do that, and you can save the image, you can reset the image, and all that stuff. So that is kind of interaction that you can do with your plot. So yes, so Bokeh basically is a library that allows interactive plotting. So we will explore Bokeh more in our a couple of more upcoming videos about Bokeh. So hope to see you in the next video. Okay, in the last video we saw an example of this Bokeh plotting, where we saw this is this basically gives a browser-based interactive plot, and you can interact with the plot. I also show you that you can open up a new file. In this particular video, I'm going to show you that you can embed all your plots in the same notebook as well. For that, you may have to import bokeh.io. From bokeh.io, import output file, output notebook. So import that, And after that, you just call it output notebook. Just call it. Just call that out, and you just run that. So that way, now the upcoming plots, all of them, they will be now in the same notebook. So for example, let me do the same plot again. Let me, for example, set the colors, set the height and width. Let's say 400 height. The width is, let's say, 300. And now the plot will be in the same notebook rather than another browser. So you can set different modes. There are different modes. I mean, a new file mode, the same notebook mode, a server mode, and several modes are there. Again, you can do all the stuff that you were doing earlier using the same notebook right here. Yeah. So next, let's, for example, explore some more functionality of this basically this bouquet. Let's do a couple of more examples. Let's say p equals figure. Let's set certain properties. Let's say plot width. Let's say plot width is let's say 400. Plot height. Let's set that property as HEIGHT. Let's say that is let's say 300. That's the height. Set the title. For example, title is, let's say, bouquet example or bouquet example. Let's say this is the title. And then you can have more properties to set. Let's say x is label, x-axis label. Let's say that is x, whatever the string that you want. Y-axis label. Let's say that is y. You can have more properties, obviously. Then let's generate some data. np dot linspace. Let's say linspace. Let's say from -2 to 2. Let's generate 100 points, or maybe a few points. Let's say let's generate 30 points between -2 and 2. And let's say y1 is simply np dot y1 is np dot sine x. Let's say y2 is np dot cos x. And let's say let's have y3 as well. Y3 as let's say y1 plus y2 minus 0.5, our favorite function. So let's say that is y3. So now let's plot using a line or solid curve. Let's say x, y1, and let's give a legend. Let's give a legend label as let's say sine x. Sine x. Let's say this is the legend. Now we can have a circle. We can have, for example, a marker as a circle. There are different markers that are available. Circle, solid, and all these. Let's say we have x, y, 2, legend. Legend may be, for example, cos x. That might be a legend. And we can set the, I mean, because this is a circle, we can set the filling color of it. Filling color is, let's say, green. And we can set the size of the marker as well. Let's say that's a 5. So next, let's draw the third with the triangles. Triangle. Let's say this is again x, y, 3. And because it is triangle, yeah, let's just set the color. Maybe we have to set the legend here as well. So legend equals, for example, sine x plus cos x. That's the legend. And let's set the color as, let's say, red. So here we have not specified any color. Here we have specified the color as green, red. So we could have specified the color here as well if we want. Otherwise, some default color would have been assigned. So yeah, so after that, we just call show function from p. And yeah, so you can see here, for example, these are the legends, and these are the plots, and yeah, we can zoom in, zoom out, and we can play with this kind of structure all the way long. And yeah, I mean, we can reset, and we can set the location of oh, this legend in the newer versions. I'm using a newer version, and that actually is deprecated, so I have to use a legend field or legend group or something like so, but that's fine. So yeah, so you can have these multiple plots, very beautiful plots, interactive plots, and all that kind of stuff. Not only that, you can have grid plots as well, where you can have multiple plots in a grid, and you can play with that grid just as once. So in the next video, we will see an example of a grid plot where you can have a subplots in a grid, and you actually play with all the grid just at once. So hope to see you in the next video. Okay, in the last video, I discussed different markers and multiple plots in Bokeh, and I also discussed how can we embed the plot in the same notebook. In this particular video, I'm going to talk about grid plot. Basically, what if we want multiple plots like the subplots, multiple plots, they're arranged in a grid, and we want to interact with the whole grid at once. So actually Bokeh has a grid plot functionality in that way. So let's just do an example. So let's say from Bokeh dot layouts import, for example, grid plot. Let's import that. Hope it is imported successfully. Yes. Then let's generate some data. Let's pick the data from the previous cell that we have just generated already. Let's just write that data here. Yeah. So then we already have imported figure somewhere. Yeah. So we have imported figure here. So we already have imported figure. So let's use that. So let's say S1 is equal to figure where plot width is, let's say, 400, plot height, HHT height is, let's say, maybe 300. Maybe we have these plot width is also 300. Let's just see that. And that, or the height is just 200. And we can have, I mean, more properties here, titles and all that stuff. Yeah. So S1 dot circle, let's say the circle is our marker here, X, Y, 1, and the size of the marker, let's say, is 10. The color is, let's say, navy. That's the color we are using. And let's use the alpha blending if we really want. L alpha is, let's say, 0.7. Yeah. So that's basically plot 1. Similarly, let's generate a plot 2 with the same kind of stuff. Let's call the second plot as S2. Let's generate another plot S2 with the same kind of stuff. And let's say S2 is simply using, let's say, triangles. So let's use the marker as triangle. Yeah. So remember, this is S2. So this is that. Rest of the story is, let's change the color. Let's say, let's use a color like wire brick color. Why not? And let's say the alpha blending is the same. Yeah. So let's have another graph for Y3 as well. Let's say S3. Again, the rest of the properties are, let's say, same. And then we go for S3 and Y3 size, and should we use triangle? Let's use another, what? Let's use square. Yeah. So color, let's give the color to, let's say, olive color, and rest of the story is same. Now, what next we do really is we make a grid of plots using grid plot that we have just imported. And we make a grid in such a way that first we want S1 to appear, then we want S2 to appear, then we want S3 to appear. Now that's one grid plot. Now we go show and we show RP, and the graph should be shown here. Yeah, so basically that's the grid you can see there. Yeah, it's larger in width. Maybe I should zoom out just to show you. Yeah, so these are the plots. Now I can interact with this individually. I can interact with this individually. I can interact with this individually. I mean, all these controls, I can interact with these individually, and there are commands also to actually combine these plots together so that we can interact with the whole grid at once as well. So yeah, so that was just an example of making multiple plots, just like subplots in Matplotlib. There are interactive variants in Bokeh as well. Bokeh is a great library. I mean, a lot of work has been done and is going on in Bokeh. But a lot of people are facing one particular problem, that these two-dimensional plots, I mean, interacting with these two-dimensional plots is not that much useful. Sometimes we need to interact with a three-dimensional plot to see the surface, how it rotates in 3 dimensions and all that stuff. Unfortunately, the direct access to three-dimensional plot, interactive access to three-dimensional plot in Bokeh is not that straightforward, although there are workarounds, but still the work for 3 dimensions in Bokeh is going on. And that's why if you, for example, want interactive plotting, particularly in 3 dimensions, there are other libraries that are recommended. And one of those is Plotly, that we'll be discussing in the next video, where we'll be actually plotting 3 dimensional plots, all interactive, in the same notebook, which is difficult to achieve using Bokeh. So let's introduce another library, Plotly, in the next video. Hope to see you in the next video.